My 10 favorite office movies. Hi, how are you? So, Devil Wears Prada 2 just came out this weekend. And so one of the reasons I like Devil Wears Prada is because it's set in an office. And for some reason, I love office movies. I don't entirely know why. I sort of know why, and I think it's because it has to do with efficiency and getting stuff done and being organized. And when I need to get stuff done and I got a to-do list and I got to pay my bills and run errands and do all this stuff, I get in this computer mode. I get in machine mode. I got to accomplish these tasks, and office movies just totally get me in the vibe of that. And I want to get everything done so I can then forget about being machine accomplishment person and then just be creative in the moment feeling person. Because I write songs and I do videos and I write books and I'm mostly a creative person, but I have to get into the get stuff done mode, and office movies really help me do that. And to celebrate Devil Wears Prada 2 coming up, I'm going to start off with my first favorite office movie, which is Devil Wears Prada. It's set in an office, but the thing about it is it's a beautiful office, and it's comfortable, and it's got fashion and beautiful people, and in New York, and everything about it is glitzy and fun, and it's got a vibe about it that's fun, and so it's not like my second. I'll try not to jump around. I'm going to start in reverse. I'm going to tell you my favorites, my most favorites first. Because I love it when videos just get right to the point. So my second one is All the President's Men. Why did I show you this? It's just written down. The reason is because I don't have All the President's Men on a DVD in the case. I just have the disc. Because at some point I thought, oh, I'll just put all these DVDs in a case, and then I can just throw out the cases. It'll be easy to store. But I love the cases. They're beautiful. So I got to rebuy it. Anyway, my first choice for greatest office movie or most favorite is Devil Wears Prada. My second is All the President's Men. All the President's Men, made in the 70s, Robert Redford, Dustin Hoffman. It's not glitzy at all. It's very, this rows and rows of cubicles and desks and sitting there for long hours and ringing telephones, and it's not Devil Wears Prada. It's not a comedy. It's of course not. It's a completely different genre. But contrast those two different movies, and yet they're both to have the same let's get stuff done attitude about it. And so I can watch both of those and still get in the vibe of, hey, let's get stuff done. So it's a different vibe. If I'm really serious about it, then it's All the President's Men. And if I love a really good mystery and solving things, and if I just want to have fun and enjoy myself while I'm getting stuff done, Devil Wears Prada is my first pick. And I think that's why I like office movies. It's a bunch of people in one setting, accomplishing tasks, and it's all about dialogue. And I love dialogue. And one of the reasons I love dialogue, and it really got me, dialogue became one of my favorite things, and I use it in my novels a lot, is snappy dialogue, is West Wing. Aaron Sorkin really hooked me into, oh, this is great. Yeah, snappy dialogue with people working in offices. And it has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with just people working at work, in offices, in nice suits, having really witty repartee. And I just love that. And so yeah, Devil Wears Prada is, where did I put? Oh. is my first favorite. All the President's Men is the second favorite. Air is my third favorite. This came out just in the past couple of years. It's Matt Damon and Ben Affleck coming together again, starring in a movie together. Ben directed it, and it's great. It's really enjoyable. It's about I've talked about this before, but it's about Michael Jordan and the story of Michael Jordan signing with Nike, and it's just really well done and well crafted, and the dialogue's great. And again, it's sort of a go-between. It's not glitzy and glamour office like this, but it's not also Gotta stop picking this up. It's not the DVD, it's just the words written down. It's a kind of a contrast between there. It's not glitzy, but it's not really stark. It's sort of nice. It's fun, but it's not a comedy. It's got a really fun vibe. But I love the scenes most of all with Matt Damon watching the television. I don't think this is a big spoiler. When he's watching the television in his home at night, and he sees the ad, and he's watching Michael Jordan on the basketball TV, and he gets the idea. And then immediately goes into work and sells his coworkers on this idea. This is what we got to do. We got to do it. And it's a getting stuff done movie. And how are we going to pull this off movie? Because I really love heists. I love Ocean's 11. I love Thomas Crown Affair. I love all those heist movies. Italian Job. And these office movies are kind of like a heist. How are we going to get this done? And so this one definitely is it's not a heist, but it's a how are we going to get this done kind of movie. And then we have Wall Street, which is my fourth. It's just really good, directed by Oliver Stone, but it's got a dark side to it. It's a different kind of office movie. It's darker, but Oliver Stone, who I think he got an Oscar for writing Patton, and then he directed Platoon, and then he did Wall Street, and then, but he's really good at creating a well-structured screenplay with great one-line dialogue. I mean, there's so many quotable lines in Wall Street, and this movie took on a whole other fame when people watching this was like, oh, I want to be like Gordon Gekko, and I want to go make lots of money on Wall Street. Not really wanting to see the really dark side of what he was doing, and kind of missing the point. But this created a whole different phenomenon of greed is good, and this came out in 1985, I believe, and but I love watching it. Because one, it's in offices and there's lots of money and wealth, and it's pretty to look at. Wolf of Wall Street is kind of like that, but it's so dark, and this guy is despicable. I don't like anything about him. Whereas Michael Douglas is interesting, and so sorry, a piece of my breakfast just came loose in my tooth. I was trying to figure out a really a good way to get rid of that. Sorry, my cereal just came loose in my tooth. Anyway, god damn, that's really unprofessional. Anyway, Wall Street. Another dark one is Margin Call. The reason I like these movies is because I got obsessed when the 2008 market crash happened, and I was watching Margin Call, and I was watching another movie, Too Big to Fail, and I was watching The Big Short, and I got kind of obsessed with the whole what the heck happened in 2008 that caused the whole market thing to fall. That was subtle. I didn't plan that. But the cast is amazing. And sometimes problematic, but it's really well done. I mean, I think this is his first movie that he directed, the writer-director, and it's structured so good. And my favorite scene is so in Air, my favorite scene is when he figures out the idea. Now he realizes what he's got to do and he's going on the adventure. My favorite scene in here is when Zachary Quinto realizes what is wrong with their numbers and has to call in the whole company to solve the problem. I love it when the moment when a character figures out the big problem, because then it sets up the entire movie of, okay, this is what we have to solve. And anyway, this is just really good. It's really well paced. It's quotable, the scenes. if you want to listen to one of my favorite podcasts, is the Rewatchables. They do a great episode talking about Margin Call. Broadcast news. This is an office movie. It's set in a television station, so it's not cubicle after cubicle. But it's still, I can still consider it an office movie. And they're not always in the office, but the humor when Albert Brooks is trying to anchor the news for the first time, and he's sweating profusely, and the stagehands are crashing into the backstage set, and Holly Hunter is phenomenal, and her vibe between the two characters and in this love triangle, but it's set in an office. And one of the other things about office movies, see, I'm figuring this out as I talk to you, is we learn stuff. We learn the interworkings of how the sausage gets made in a product or a company or the television or in finance, and we learn a lot of stuff. It's very educational. Like in Devil Wears Prada, we not only learned about, fashion, but how fashion gets selected. I mean, the whole monologue that Meryl Streep does on, the cerulean sweater that she's wearing and how they selected cerulean, and that filtered down into all the fashion people choosing to do cerulean and ends up in the for sale bin. And that, you learn stuff. It's fascinating. And I love finding out the interworkings of how stuff works. And office movies definitely do that. This is just, it's charming. It's fun. I love broadcast news. Moneyball. I consider this an office movie because it takes place in an office. If you consider the baseball field also an office. Because it takes place, the scenes with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill in the office when he's eating popcorn and making the deals on the telephone, and why won't anybody call me back? And it's just fascinating to watch the inner workings of how they pulled this off. I mean, I was living in San Francisco at the time, and I wasn't paying attention to the baseball scores, and I didn't realize that the Oakland A's won 20 games in a row. I was there at that time. I wish I would have realized. But this is a really fun movie. It's not a comedy, but it's got comic moments, and it's got witty dialogue. I mean, the whole scene with, we'll go back to, when the characters figure stuff out. When Brad Pitt figures out what's wrong with baseball, when Jonah Hill is they're literally in an underground garage, just like All the President's Men, discussing the secrets of why baseball isn't working. And it's because, they're picking the players all wrong. You don't pick all-stars. You pick the misfits who, are cast out because they do one thing wrong, or it's not pretty. And having that whole statistic thing explained, and it's just really fascinating. And you learn a lot. So, learn a lot. Witty dialogue. Feels really organized and motivated to get something done. These are the things that we're learning of why office movies are cool. Wall Street 2, not a great movie, but certainly not to the heights of Wall Street, but still an enjoyable watch, and I'm glad he made it. And it's again another 2008. What the heck happened with the financial system? This is another peek behind that of why it happened, the inner workings. And it's enjoyable. It's interesting. Okay, Gordon Gekko comes back. What would he do? And yep, that's what he would do. I consider The Intern, until this Devil Wears Prada 2 movie came out, I considered this the sequel to Devil Wears Prada, where Andy left Miranda and then started her own company and worked with Robert De Niro. And I've just always considered this the sequel to Devil Wears Prada. The Intern is really fun. I don't think it's perfectly written, but it's really enjoyable, and it's the inner workings of how stuff works, and it's sort of light and glossy. Yep, it's a Nancy Meyers movie. So The Holiday, movies like that, it's got that happy vibe. But they work in an office. And it's interesting because they don't have individual, it's not like The West Wing where they have individual offices and you walk down a hall. It's a big room and with a bunch of desks, and everybody's working. And although there is one conference room. But it's really fun, and I've always considered this the sequel to Devil Wears Prada. Until now. Maybe this is just like an alternate universe, Devil Wears Prada. And then finally, number 10, Working Girl, 1985. The hair, the women's hair is so big. And this night, when did this come out? This must have been 85? No, 87. I don't know. It doesn't say. 88? I literally have a magnifying glass in my room because my eyes are not what they used to be. But also, this print is so small. I mean, when you read an aspirin bottle, I literally have to get out the magnifying glass. I mean, it's insane, right? Why are they making it so small? Anyway, Working Girl. I mean, Harrison Ford is great. Sigourney Weaver, Melanie Griffith. What's interesting is that in, well, lots of things are interesting, but in 50 Shades Darker, the second movie, Melanie Griffith's daughter, Dakota Johnson, sorry, that just escaped my mind. She quotes the same line as her mom did in this movie, which was at the end of this movie, she's talking to her secretary, I don't expect you to fetch me coffee and we'll figure this out. And it was a fun callback that she did the same line in 50 Shades Darker as her mom did in this movie. And it's a great, how the heck do you work up into a position of power? How do you prove yourself in the corporate world if you can't get a chance and nobody gives you a chance? You basically have to take a chance. And anyway, it's really good. It's like, how the heck is she going to pull this off? And she's in too deep, and then she ends up doing it. And I like the way this is structured. If you ever study story structure, Sigourney Weaver goes on vacation, and she gets in an accident, and then she's out, and then that's the start of Act 2. And then all of Act 2 is Sigourney Weaver being away, and then the start of Act 3 is Sigourney Weaver comes back. And it's like that chiastic structure I think I talked about in another video, where Act 1 ends, and then Act 3 has the same topic. So you have Act 1 ends with Sigourney getting injured, and then Act 3 starts with Sigourney coming back, and so Act 2 is between those two things. It's just like, what was that Miley Cyrus movie I saw where she's on a beach? I don't remember. I think it was with the Chris Hemsworth brother or somebody, and at the end of Act 1 they find turtle eggs on the beach, and when Act 3 starts, those turtle eggs hatch. So you have the same topic, and Act 2 happens between those two things. Anyway, it's just an interesting screenplay thing. So those are the 10, and then some honorable mentions up in the air is about offices, but they are all not in the office very long. They end up flying around to other people's offices and firing them. But this is a really well-crafted, written, moving movie, and surprises, and Anna Kendrick is great in it, and George Clooney, and Vera Farmiga. It's just really great. To Fail, I mentioned. This is The Big Short. It's really well acted, great cast, really well written. I really enjoy this movie. And then, of course, you got TV shows like Spin City that take places in office. This is really enjoyable. There's another News Radio. Was really fun. West Wing, I liked. Another honorable mention, 13 Days, which takes place during the Cuban Missile Crisis in the White House, and with President Kennedy, and Kevin Costner, as he's trying out this accent, and it doesn't quite work, but it's got a great director commentary track, and that's one of the reasons I get these DVDs, is because they have director commentary, and you can go and you can listen to it further, I think. And this was directed by Curtis Hanson, who also directed LA Confidential and some other great movies. Curtis Hanson's a really smart director. I don't think he's directed anything bad. And another honorable mention, Enron. This is a great documentary. I got this one at Blockbuster, because Blockbuster used to sell their DVDs in the bin in the middle of the store, and I bought this for $12.99. Previously viewed, $12.99 used. Anyway, This is a great documentary if you want to find out the inner workings of Enron and what happened there. This is really smart, very smart people telling you how this, I mean, I couldn't understand half of what they were saying because these people were so much smarter than me. Glenn Gary and Glenn Ross, it takes place in an office. I've never really liked it. Once you get past the Alec Baldwin monologue, it's great, I guess. I just find all the characters so despicable that I can't even like it. Office Space, of course, it's a comedy. I mean, but it's such a, it's fun, but it's also such a downer, because if you've ever worked in an office, it's like, oh yeah, that's what it's like. So it's almost painful to watch, at the same time it's funny. Cult classic. Then there's movies like The Martian. How is this an office movie? Well, it's got a control center. And it's just like Apollo 13, where half of the action is happening somewhere else in space or on Mars, and then half of the other action is happening in a control room with a bunch of people in suits trying to accomplish an impossible task and they've got all the gadgets. That's one of the other things about these movies in offices. They got the computers and they've got all these gadgets. And like this TV show, The Newsroom, also done by Aaron Sorkin, got a control center, you know? They talk a lot in offices, and then they go into the television studio, which got the studio where the anchor sits, and then you've got the control center where all the computers are, with all the buttons and all the lights, and they're wearing the headsets, and it all looks very important. So these are control center movies, which I kind of consider office movies. And then another one is The Insider, where it takes place at 60 Minutes in CBS. And, you know, Al Pacino was editing one of these episodes that they're going to run on 60 Minutes. And it's just interesting seeing how that works. But it's basically an office movie, even though they're interviewing people. But so anyway, those are my 10 favorite office movies, along with some other ones that you might enjoy watching. And oh, there's two more. I wanted to mention Disclosure, which takes place in an office, and I know the director wanted to have all the offices be glass, so you can see in all the offices. And but it's definitely an office movie. It's really fun listening to the Rewatchables podcast talk about Disclosure, because there's so much wrong with that movie. There's so much. It's so dated. It has not aged well, but at the time, it was like, you know, it was like a thriller in the office. And anyway, Disclosure I wanted to mention, and then also 2 Weeks Notice with Sandra Bullock and Hugh Grant, which I threw the case away, but I've got the DVD still, so I got to rebuy it and get the case. That's a really fun movie about them working in an office together. So anyway, those are movies about offices, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you like movies set in offices? Do you like learning the inner workings of how businesses and do stuff? Do you like snappy dialogue? Do you like it when a character realizes something and then they have to spend the rest of the movie figuring out how they're going to solve this problem while wearing fancy suits? Anyway. I wanted to mention one other thing. All the President's Men, watching Robert Redford talk on a telephone. I mean, that one scene where it's just a one-er shot and it just slowly zooms in on him as he gets closer and closer to the truth of the person he's talking to. And he's like making stuff up as the actor is literally, you know, his line when he says that, does anyone here speak English? I mean, does anyone here speak Spanish? And he flubbed that line, but he's so realistic. Robert Redford is one of my favorite actors. He's so natural. But just watching Robert Redford talk on a telephone is mesmerizing. And anyway, I just wanted you to mention that. So what are your favorite office movies? And do you like office movies? I would love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, that's all for this week. And I hope we all enjoy Devil Wears Prada too. All right, have a great week.